years, West Bengal politics seemed unshakable. One woman stood at the center of it all, Mamata Banerjee, and the party she built, the Trinamool Congress. For more than 2 decades, TMC dominated Bengal's political landscape. Election after election, challenge after challenge, they remained one of the most powerful regional forces in India. But today, the same party is facing one of the biggest crises in history. Reports of internal rebellion, senior leaders questioning the leadership, MPs considering breaking away, and political observers asking a simple but important question: how does a party that looked so powerful begin falling apart so quickly? To understand that, we need to zoom out, because this story is bigger than Bengal. It's about how Indian politics itself has changed over the last decade. Before 2014, India's political map looked very different. Regional parties were the king. Leaders like Mamata Banerjee, Sharad Pawar, Naveen Patnaik, and many others held enormous influence in their respective states. National governments often depended on these regional parties. But over the years, the balance slowly started to shift. A new political reality emerged, one where the elections were no longer the only battlefield. Because sometimes the real battle begins after the election is over, and that's where a term called Operation Lotus enters the conversation. Supporters of BJP say political leaders have every right to switch parties if they choose. But the critics argue something very different. They claim Operation Lotus is a long-term strategy designed to weaken rival parties from within, not by defeating them alone, but by encouraging defections, creating internal divisions, and gradually reducing their political strength. Whether you agree with the view or not, the phrase has become one of the most discussed concepts in modern Indian politics. The term first gained national attention in Karnataka in 2008. The BJP emerged as the single largest party but lacked a full majority. Soon, opposition legislators began resigning. Some later contested elections again, and eventually, the BJP strengthened its position again. The strategy worked, and from that moment onwards, political observers began using the phrase Operation Lotus whenever similar events unfold elsewhere. Over the years, accusations of the same playbook appeared in state after state. Arunachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Karnataka again, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. Each case was different, but the pattern looked familiar. Governments collapsed, parties shift, and power shattered, sometimes without voters ever entering to the polling booth. Now fast forward to Bengal. After the 2026 election, tensions reportedly began growing inside the Trinamool Congress. Some leaders were unhappy, others questioned the direction of the party, and soon reports emerged suggesting that a large group of MPs were considering distancing themselves from the leadership. If true, this wasn't just another internal disagreement. It is a potential threat to the party's very survival, because in Indian politics, numbers matter a lot. India's anti-defection law prevents politicians from casually switching parties. Normally, if an MP leaves their party, they risk losing their seat. But there is a loophole. If 2/3 of legislators move together, it can be treated as a merger instead of a defection. And that changes everything. Suddenly, every resignation matters. Every meeting matters. Every rumor matters. Because political survival depends just on a few numbers. But what's even more interesting is that this story isn't limited to opposition parties. Several regional parties that once worked alongside larger national parties have also struggled over time. From Odisha's BJD to Punjab's Akali Dal, from Jammu and Kashmir's PDP to Tamil Nadu's AIADMK, many once dominant regional forces have seen their influence shrink. Some blame changing voter preferences, others blame aggressive political expansion by larger parties. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Politics is rarely black and white, and that is what makes the Bengal situation so fascinating. Because this isn't just a story about Mamata Banerjee, it's a story about the future of regional parties in India. Can regional parties continue to survive in an era where national parties are becoming stronger than ever? Will political consolidation create stability? Or will it reduce the diversity of voters that democracy depends on? Those questions remain unanswered. But one thing is certain: the events unfolding today in Bengal will be watched closely across the entire country. Because if one of India's most powerful regional parties can face such uncertainty, then no political party can ever assume it is invincible. In politics, power can take decades to build, but sometimes it only takes a few months for everything to change. And what is happening in Bengal today may not be an isolated event. It may be a glimpse into the future of Indian politics itself.